Previously on Dances with Dice, when last we left our heroes, Finian, the halfling artificer, Felix, the human bard, and Theo, the satyr fighter, out of the frying pan and into safety of some sort. As our heroes rest and recover at the estate of Marcellus Harwind and his lovely wife Bean, our heroes ponder what their next steps may be. What new dangers await our heroes in a world of awakened dragons this week on Dances with Dice.
All right, so we return. You guys are within the technically underground castle of Marcellus Highland and Bean. Marcellus Harwind Bean. You guys had some magical items that you had the option to gather. They were going to be either 2 greens of your choice, 1 blue, or 1 purple. That would be a group item. We'll start with Theo. Theo, what is your magical item?
I picked demon skin.
All right,
Which,
please describe that.
Upsetting.
I picked it. Let me go back and find it once more because I closed it like a silly little
Like
guy.
a silly belly.
A silly belly. All right, this magic armor appears as a pot of bubbling black ichor. When you attune to it, the ichor adheres to and contours to your skin, and the pot disappears. The armor can be worn under normal clothes, and it doesn't impede bodily functions, so Theo can still pee and get jiggy with it.
The most important thing is your ability. The most important thing, everybody remember, is can I twerk in this armor?
Yeah. Once you put it on, once you put it on though, it can't be removed unless you choose to do so or you die. At which point the pot reappears and the ichor flows back into it. While wearing the armor, you have resistance to poison damage. The armor also doesn't impose disadvantage on dexterity, parentheses, stealth checks, which is the primary reason. It's like, 1, I can have full plate mail and also
Be a stealthy bitch.
be a stealthy bitch.
All right, so demon skin. I will say you can come up with whatever that looks like a little bit
with a design.
with a look
Maybe
or a
she'll
design.
Just, I don't know. She might end up just wearing it under what she's.
Give you the skin of a killer, Bella.
She
Wow,
Felix just before
Felix just burst into flames for some reason. It was so wild.
It just makes her look like Booty Nightwing.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. All right, that has to be incorporated. Your fat ass Theo.
she keep in mind she's a satyr, so also her ass is covered in fur, basically. Like
It means it looks thicker.
Yeah, it means it's just it means it's just even bigger.
It's fluffier. Hi, Django. Django's mad at us, so she left.
Oh. Okay, so that is Theo's armor. Finian, what about you? What did you select?
Finian.
What did I select? I got a nice saddle because GB deserves good things.
and so does Finian's ass while riding GB.
about to say, like, oh my god, I can't believe we're getting magic items and you chose to get something for your dog. And then I
Look.
realized that's something Morgan IRL would do.
Morgan, the number of times you would come home from work with a toy for Scout because, well, I was going to be late, so I felt bad. So I was more late to buy my dog a toy.
I have to stop and, like, run errands on my way home from work. I legally have to get her something, too, because she waited so patiently.
But yes, no, GB deserves nice things.
All right, so you get a saddle for him?
I got GB the Saddle of the Cavalier.
Okay.
Well, this saddle is on my mount / dog / robot. I cannot be dismounted, and furthermore, or as long as I'm still conscious, and attack rolls against GB have disadvantage, which is pretty awesome.
All right. Very nice. What was your other? That's a green item, so what's your second green?
Yes. My second green was the Serpent Scale Armor. This suit of magic armor is made of shimmering scales. While wearing it, I can apply my full dexterity modifier instead of just the maximum of 2 when determining my armor class. So my armor class went up by 2, so now I have a 20 armor class. And in addition, this also doesn't
disadvantage
doesn't impose disadvantage on stealth checks as well. So I can also be stealthy.
Very nice. You were already somewhat stealthy, but you now can be extra stealthy.
I now also have I am more tough and still stealthy.
Yes. Though it's gonna be really funny. It's like if you ever go unconscious on GB, the weight, the trade-off for this is like the weight of all the things on you because you are a halfling is like it's just guaranteed concussion when you fall off the saddle. It's just because you're gonna fall like a ball of tungsten.
I feel like we should be invested in helmets for all of us.
All right, and that leads us to Felix. Felix, what are your items?
So I'm definitely going with the Cloak of Protection.
Okay. Get yourself a little free AC. We love a little free AC.
Yes. The flavor text for this is literally you gain a +1 bonus to AC and saving throws while you wear this cloak, and that's fucking it. No flavor. This entry is dry as fuck.
Well, you can make the cloak as pretty and ostentatious as your little bard heart desires.
And then I'm stuck between my last two, so I want group input real quick.
Technicolor Dream Code.
I've got Medallion of Thoughts, which gives me 3 casts of Detect Thoughts per day, and I might be able to learn that at some point, but I don't have it right now. And then the Pipes of Haunting that has 3 charges, and let's see here. Each creature within 30 feet of you has to succeed a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw or become frightened for 1 minute. If you wish, all creatures that aren't hostile to you automatically succeed.
What does Frightened do?
Frightened just makes it so that you can
disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of fear is while the source of its fear is within line of sight and the creature can't move closer to the source of fear.
Yes. So it's a bubble that will force anyone to run away from Felix.
Well, they don't run away. They just because that would be
closer.
Yeah.
You can. They have an advantage.
Yeah.
Nice.
I believe you can get Detect Thoughts as a bard. Hang on.
I think I don't know. The Pipes of Haunting sound pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. I was like, it's a combat option or like a roleplay option, and honestly, I'm like, how often would I remember to cast Detect Thoughts? Like, let's be so fucking for real.
Yeah, and bards
and I've
can.
got really good persuasion, so like.
Bards can get Detect Thoughts, so that is a spell you could learn.
Oh, that's true. Eventually, you'd learn it anyway.
So I would go with
pipes.
I think the pipes probably fit the flavor a bit more. Plus, it's an instrument.
The pipes are calling.
The pipes are hunting.
The pickles are calling.
I really think it should sound like a groan tube too, though. Like, it's just like. I can make the groan tube.
All right. Well, so you guys are able to gather up all of your magical items. Lord Marcellus is he happily hands them off to each and every one of you. He explains he explains to you guys that each of these items, they have been gathered, curated, and saved. All of these, and as you kind of look at all of these items, you realize as he's saying it, it's like, oh, these are all pre-war items. These are either pre-World Breaker or just post-World Breaker in age.
I'm gonna put on the cloak and then like kind of swoosh it a little bit and be like, I'll be taking this for free. I'm an influencer.
Oh my god.
And that's gonna be my one McElroy reference this episode.
I'm an influencer.
Oh my
I'm
god.
an influencer.
All right.
Everything I say is a McElroy reference, to be honest. Like,
with all of that, Lord Marcellus kind of explains. He explains to you guys. You're welcome to kind of like you can't have like a day of sort of downtime and like just sort of like gathering yourselves, because last night is when you arrived, and now today is like, you're kind of like, okay, we just saw some dragons reappear, and then there was a dragon fight, and then a city caught fire, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and like lots of sort of things happening. So this is kind of your like, holy shit, all of that just happened day, to kind of rest, relax, and I guess plan. As was spoken of,
PTSD.
yeah, as you deal with the PTSD. As was discussed last time, you will have kind of two options to kind of like, well, at least in terms of like you have two paths that are very easy to, I guess, they come with teleportation, I guess is the best way to describe it. Because Professor Myers is at Talinan Fortress, and the only way to get to Wormspeaker Fortress is through a ship that can be chartered at the docks in Talinan Fortress. Marcellus explains that he has already set up passage for you guys. When you arrive, you will have about 2 days before anyone notices that you are in Talinan Fortress. And then at that point, you're kind of on your own to pursue whatever it is you were looking to pursue. He is, and he also promises that he will have some sort of report from what's actually happening in the world at large, because as you can imagine, one dragon appearing kind of did a whole lot of kind of fuck shit all around the rest of the world. So for now, you guys, any personal goals you want to tackle, any investigations you want to do, or looking over anything from your previous adventures, you have a little bit of time to do that.
I would like to remove this torso from my puppy.
Okay.
What a sentence.
So
Horsey the torso.
None of those words were in the Bible.
Vonnie, you can, so if you were to remove Vonnie from GB, because you're like looking at what you did, Finn, you're kind of realizing it's like, this is why battlefield surgery is messy. Because as you're looking at it, you realize it's like, in your haste and desire to save Vonnie, which was very noble, you're looking at it now and you realized, shit, their life force is connected. And that's the only way that this is fucking working. So please roll me a tinkering check, Finn.
And just let her fucking die?
I can't believe we added another person to our party.
This is a tinkering check to see if you this is a tinkering check to see if you have if you can like reverse the process at all. Now that you have more than 30 seconds to look at this.
Can we attach her to Brenneth?
Like, trying to actually look at, like, because Tinker is
it's intelligence plus proficiency.
Okay. roll a d20.
D20 plus 8.
Well, that's not bad. 21.
21. Okay. You ask Marcellus if like he has any like living armor suits lying around that he doesn't mind letting go of, and he just kind of cocks an eyebrow at you and then points you like there's like a door that's very dusty. And you open it, and inside there, stacked floor to ceiling, is just various like different pieces and components and bits of armor. You think you have figured out you like from your tinkering check. You're able to find you have been able to at least separate the two lifelines within GB. It's a really like it's a really interesting thing. It's like GB is like sitting, but like is turned off, and their mouth is just like open as you're like it almost looks like you're doing dental work on GB, but like that's where his CPU is. Because you're working on the brain. So you have been able to at least divide.
It's like a fursuit where you can see the human person through the mouth of the fursuit.
Oh my god.
only instead it's like all the circuitry and like robot brain. So you separate the life streams, which was kind of a coin flip, but you were able to you figured it out. And your working theory now is that if you can get Vonnie's life stream to move into the living armor, it will at least allow you to kind of create like almost like a storage compartment for her while you safely separate her torso without killing her. So step 1 you figured out, that was step 2, and then step 3 is currently theoretical, but you're pretty sure you can make Vonnie's torso and the living armor pieces probably work. You haven't gotten that far yet, so but you're getting there. So
I didn't know that the mollusks and the living armor were compatible with
it's like you're kind of doing real hacky artificing right now. As you're doing this, Finn, your mind actually flashes back to Professor Myers, like talking to you at one point. You guys are in a lab, and it's like one of those things like, and remember, if you ever find yourself in a strange situation where you need to, for some reason, perform battlefield surgery on various bits of living armor, don't forget that living armor, until it has a soul or some sort of compartmental within it, is just a piece of armor. So don't fuck up your order of operations. And that sort of crosses your mind just as you were about to like clip a red wire, and it's like, wait, clip the yellow wire.
I was making a silly reference to a Delicious in Dungeon, because in Delicious in Dungeon, living armor is actually just it's the way living armor works is it's not magical, it's not anything, it's just a bunch of like mollusk type creatures living in between the folds of the armor. And so they're like big muscle, they're like big muscle things that just like connect to each other, and so they're colonies living in the armor. And so that's how they actually move the armor, and the armor is alive, but the armor's not alive. It's just like a bunch of like, crustaceans living in the armor that move it.
Finn, please roll me another tinkering check and then an arcana check.
Okay. Not awful, but 14.
Okay.
And then okay, that's a 19.
Okay. So you're able to do all of your things. You kind of like tap Vonnie on her forehead. It's like, okay, Vonnie, you're going to take a nap for a minute, but you'll wake up just a second. And she goes, okay. And then you kind of like, she like, boom, shuts down. You perform your sort of transmutation spell. And this like sort of pile of armor that was kind of just like laid out on the ground sort of like pops up Alphonse Elric style, just It's just like looking around. It's like, oh, I am very empty on the inside.
Just like deadpan, like with a cigarette.
Yeah, Felix in the corner. He's just here. Preach, sister. And then with that, you were able to reach in. You disconnect the Vani torso from GB. You're able to kind of like sort of slide the plates together, and it works. GB is whole again. And then you kind of lay out Vani and you grab another piece of like sort of, you grab a couple of different pieces of armor, and give me one final tinkering check with advantage, please. Because you have successfully done everything so far.
Well, that's pretty good. Do it anyway. Yes. I rolled a 16 both times, but 16 plus 8 is 24.
24, okay. So with the 20, you're like you put on like your little welding goggles, and like GB does is like GB has a TIG welder inside of one of his canines, so like he's like he's helping you as well.
I feel like there's also like an air purifying system, so like you're not getting poisoned by whatever like is
like his tail rotates at like 3,500 revolutions per minute, and it's like clearing the air and stuff as well. But with that, it takes about this entire process, I would say, takes probably about an hour. And once the hour is up, you have Vani's top, like kind of like half torso and arms and everything kind of up there. And she is now attached to just some, like the only things you could find that would work is just some honking, massive, like very clearly made for like a Goliath thighs and like armor, like leg pieces. So Vani went from like 5'3" to like 6'2" from the leg attachments.
And Vani has apparent. Everyone's just getting thick.
Yeah.
Like, from the waist down. Just.
And then once you've done that, you do the transmutation thing, and then Vani pops up. It's like, oh, it's like I'm on stilts, and just kind of like it starts like teetering around, trying to like figure out how to walk. It's like, and she looks down, she like leans down, Finian, and kind of gets like more on your level. It's like, thank you. That was very kind of you. And thank you for saving me.
Well, I mean, you're welcome. I don't think... Anytime.
She gives you a hug.
Finn's like, thank you, but like, it's very uncomfortable being hugged by like a giant metal.
She's kind of lifting you up a little bit. Eventually, she just kind of like picks you up and sort of like hugs you like you would a child when they're just too short, and then just puts you back down. Then she gives GB a pat on the head, and she says she's gonna head off and do some exploring around the castle. But there you go, Finn. You got your dog back.
Woo! And I immediately give him the saddle.
Yeah, you put the saddle on. He just kind of stands there. It's like sort of sits there, like shakes a little bit, sees it doesn't fall off. It's like, woof.
Thank God, now I won't fall off.
It happened like
and my cheeks will thank me.
It's like I feel like it happened exactly once, and it's like never again. All right, Felix. What about you? Is there anything you would like to do in your time here?
Just to like brag real quick, I added my items to D&D Beyond real fast.
Mm-hmm.
And my saving throw for charisma is now a +8.
Hell yeah.
Dope.
I don't have anything, but we are still down a man, so I feel like I am trying to think of something that doesn't involve Hannah.
You can do, I mean, you have, there are libraries here. You can do research if you'd want. You could go talk to any of the people here. Brannith, Pian, Marcellus. I don't know if there are any personal goals you are looking to tackle.
I thought Brannith was like still flying around as a dragon.
No. He turned back into an elf.
No, we got him back.
Yeah.
See, this is the real unfortunate thing about me. Apparently being so ill that I just have no working memory of the last time we played, because I have no fucking clue who's with us, what we're doing, and
We are.
it feels like when I joined last campaign, and you guys already had like relationships with people, and I was like, yes, I know what's happening.
And we forced you to be.
I
We
had
forced you to
the
have history with
in-character
Alex. We forced you
I
to have
had
history with Alex because
I
Aizen
chose
wouldn't tell
that.
us fucking anything.
I chose that. I had a choice.
It's true.
I had the in-character excuse of Amiria was just joining the party. Did you also have a white monster?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
It's a Celsius.
Celsius.
damn. I was
Sorry.
gonna say, whenever I have a white monster now, I'm like, it's just you and me against the world, Ghost Call of Duty.
I can't believe Ghost in Call of Duty has been reclaimed by the queers. I can't believe it's no longer a game for straight boys.
It's me and the toxic straight men that are calling people slurs.
Anytime someone tells me they like Call of Duty and they're like a straight man, I'm like, okay.
Well, you don't like it like my best friend likes it.
Like, I don't think you actually like it.
Hey, as somebody from that side of the spectrum, I can tell you, they don't.
They don't appreciate the depth.
Yeah.
The depth of the war crimes.
If all you're playing is the
Exactly.
multiplayer, then I don't think you actually like Call of Duty. I think you just like shooting people.
Let me tell you about John Soap McTavish. No. Okay, I will fully go on a entire tangent. Reining myself back in here.
But yeah, so Branneth is with you. He is back in his drow form. Though the last time you spoke to him, didn't really look like he was all there because, turned into a dragon, got the shit kicked out of him, transported into a vampire castle. So, coin flip on that one.
I'm gonna go sit next to him.
You find him like kind of like sitting on a balcony, just sort of overlooking like the one like not underground balcony, and you can like when you stand there, you can see you're probably about maybe like a good like 250 miles away from the Royal Aftermiria mines, but even like from this distance, you can kind of see like some of the smoke and stuff rising from there. It definitely looks a little blacker and sootier than when you guys were last there, and looks like you can see like a couple of fires even from this distance sort of raging. And your best assumption is like, oh boy, there was probably more dragon shit happening there, wasn't there? Well, yeah, he's just kind of sitting there. He's got looks like a little notebook in his hand, and his lute is sort of sitting by his side. And he's just kind of like, he's got like pencil in hand, just kind of staring out into nothingness.
I'm just gonna sit next to him and just kind of grab my own loot, which I assume I'm just keeping with me.
Yeah, I assume you keep your instruments on you.
I'm just gonna strum on it a little bit and sit next to him. And that's it.
Okay.
Just musical vibing.
Roll me a performance check, please.
Start a little band sesh.
I was gonna make a joke of like, oh, he's not that great with words, but like, that's literally.
It's your like, that's your whole shtick, is to be good with words.
19.
19. Okay. With a 19, I guess, what are you just sort of strumming a tune? Are you like aiming for like a certain like popular song, or is it more like, is it just kind of like a jam session sort of thing? Like you're just playing notes that come to you?
I think he's probably playing something like, I'm imagining like the equivalent of the oldies. It's probably some like old tune that's just like vaguely like slow and kind of like bittersweet sounding. Like it's more of a vibe than like trying to play him a jaunty little tune.
Mm-hmm. Okay. As you start playing this sort of song, you watch like the pencil kind of goes like slack in his hand, like the notebook, and like you watch as his eyes kind of defocus. And you watch for a moment, like he blinks, and you watch as like those sort of draconic eyes come back for a moment, that you had seen, when he was actually in his dragon form. And you can see like these tears like welling up in his eyes. And then like he blinks for a moment, his eyes return to his more human drow eyes. Like he kind of like wipes his face. It's like, oh, sorry about that. Oh no, what happened there? Lovely song.
It's nice to have something that expresses the feelings, but you don't have to come up with the words yourself.
He kind of smiles at that, like a rueful sort of smile. Just like, I feel you've hit the nail on the head there. I don't even know what I was doing out here. It's like have you ever felt pulled somewhere without knowing why, what, but just you needed to do whatever you were doing, or wherever you were, it wasn't enough?
I'm intimately familiar.
What are you supposed to do with that? Because I'm coming to a realization that it's kind of like how you don't notice if you've got a headache 24/7 until the headache's gone. You don't realize that this feeling's here until forcible draconic transformation sort of shifts your worldview. The metaphor's sort of falling apart here, but I think, what do you do with that feeling?
You fight the urge to miss the headache because at least it was comfortable. And then you figure out, well, you don't even need to figure it out. You just keep walking in the direction you're going until, I'd say until you know what you're actually looking for, but that would require me to have any sense of that myself, so I guess for now we're walking.
I suppose so. He kind of, there's a moment or two, and he picks up his own lute, and he's strumming a tune, one you don't recognize. It's very clear it's a personal composition. And he looks at you. It's like, oh no, we haven't done a whole lot together. We've, moderate amount of time we've known each other, but I mean, I'm a fellow member of the college. Why don't you play anything that you've written yourself? I mean, everyone else, and I kind of like gestures. Everyone else, they're not gonna notice. Song's a song, but we do. I've never heard you play an original thing in your life, and I know you can.
Someone took something from me, and until I get that back, I told myself that the world was going to know who I was. And now, without the thing that I am missing, it feels as if I would be creating this character that had all of my fame, reputation, if I tried now. But I also feel like that might just be an excuse, and maybe I am just afraid that I'm not nearly as good of a bard as I think I am.
Oh, imposter syndrome is a cunt. But, I guess perspective, and hopefully this helps. I'm not great at the advice Usually I'm good for a sarcastic comment, but as someone who's had some real forcible experience and sort of perspective shift, the stuff you think matters, like you see all of that, doesn't really mean fuck all in the face of world-altering, life-ending change. If you die before you get back what you can get, or if it's not even possible to get back, then you truly have created nothing. I don't know who Felix Faircourt is. I know that they're a decent simulation of any bard that's come before them. But I've never heard what makes Felix Faircourt their own bard. Don't let your perfect future be the enemy of your possible present. And he sort of strums like a finish on the lute. Kind of looks at you and like, thanks. This has actually been very helpful. And he kind of gives you a lingering pat on the shoulder and sort of walks back into the castle.
I think Felix is gonna stay out there for a little while by himself.
Okay. Theo, what about you? You've got your items. What do you want to deal with? Is there anyone you wish to talk to?
Yes. One, I can't believe Felix is Hannah Montana. He doesn't want Hannah Montana to get all the fame. He wants Miley Stewart to get all the fame. So he's refusing.
Is this the movie of Hannah Montana?
Like the TV show of Hannah Montana.
No. But like, isn't that the whole? Like, there was a movie of the TV show too, though, and wasn't the whole?
Yeah. Well, the
like,
plot
I'm
was
leaving Hannah Montana. Like, I'm gonna be my own person. I don't need that. Like,
well, that was actually how it ended. That was actually how Hannah Montana ended. I think the TV show was like, we're gonna go to a farm or some shit, and accidentally this entire town finds out about the secret, or maybe she reveals it to them, and the entire town agrees to keep the secret or some shit because we can entrust an entire town not to tell the entire world.
I trust one motherfucker to keep my secrets.
Yeah. Anyway. But that is actually how Hannah Montana ends. Spoiler alert for everybody. That's how
how this 15-year-old Disney TV show ends.
It ends with Miley Stewart being like, actually, everybody. And fun fact, it is also because she wants to get into college.
So, who do you want to talk to?
College was like, you need more extracurriculars, and she's like,
bitch, I'm two
would
people.
being famous help?
All right, so Theo, who are you? Who do you want to talk to?
Two things. I would love to just have a chit chat with Bargash real quick.
Okay.
Of course you would. Sorry, that was weirdly hostile.
All right, so you're able to find you find like a quiet bedroom to meditate in, and you reach out to Bargash.
Cockney uncultured. I still haven't spoken in her accent this entire 40 minutes. Bargash, are you there? Let's see what accent he picks this time.
Well, it can't be Alucard because that's Marcellus.
I think you chose I think it's a cowboy or something. I don't know.
I don't believe it was
Ask
cowboy.
me. I have no memory.
I don't believe it's. All right, we're gonna do. We'll just do. All right, from now on, Bargash.
Here I have episode 16. Theo is going to look for books about dragons. Have a conversation with Bargash. Cowboy accent.
Okay, if he was a cowboy, he's a cowboy. It's like,
in episode 16, I have cowboy accent.
Then we'll go. Okay, we'll go with cowboy. I was gonna make him German, but all right, he's a cowboy. It's like, hey Theo, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I wanted to talk to you about earlier with my echo. I know we don't really talk about that too much. That was odd, right? Was that are you I know we don't really talk about it. Are you on my echo when I do that? Is that you specifically, or are you just providing the assistance, the power for that, or
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you here, darling. I thought I was the Echo. That's what I thought I was for quite a long time. I'll be 100% honest, but I don't actually know what the fuck happened there.
yeah, that's
That
what I was...
that wasn't me.
Yes, because it was a little frightening.
It was vengeful.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too. I
mean, you and I have talked about your plans and stuff, and I feel as though I might have been unfair when I sort of categorize your thing as revenge, because it's revenge in the general sense of look at me, I've one-upped you, you doubted me, etc., but it's not revenge in the more traditional sense of I'm out to get you sort of thing, which is really scary because that was definitely the I'm out to get you sort of thing.
Yes, and up until very recently, I've only just been proven right about the cults existing. I always knew, Mother always talked about them, and I always knew that we were right. But now there's physical proof, so I don't really have any sort of personal vendetta against the cults besides them being generally not good.
I mean, I feel it's a fairly safe consideration that we could probably call them the bad guys, or at least one of the bad guys. Yeah, they're probably in that camp.
Yes, but I don't have...
You don't have personal animosity. Exactly. Your animosity is not personal.
It wasn't personal. This one felt personal.
No, it did, right?
You don't know. You don't know what that was.
Legit. No, I'm legit. I've been trying to kind of
I was expecting him to sound, but saying legit was not on my list.
I'm...
Too fair to Bargash, he doesn't remember a lot of his own shit. So that's the whole point.
So here's the thing, darling. I've been doing some thought processes and things like that. It's I think we might have a third hitchhiker. If you catch my drift.
Another one in you in it. That one's been quiet. Are you fucking kidding me? There's another one.
Listen, for a long time, again, we haven't. If we're being completely honest here, Theo, come on. It's not like we've been getting into.
Yes, us to get in contact with you.
Yeah, I know. Which is why it made sense when as soon as you got in contact with me, other weird sort of shit started happening. I didn't know what was going. I didn't know what was going on. I assumed that it was me. Up until now, I've had no reason to believe it's not me.
You're the one who's in there in my bed, and you don't see anybody else in there.
No. Also, I'm not in your brain. I'm more in your soul. It's a complicated.
I don't know what it looks like in there.
It's a complicated metaphysical arrangement we got going on here.
I don't know what it looks like.
Listen.
Except for when we're dreaming, and then it's that weird little floaty.
Well, I mean, dreams are a space between metaphysical and the reality. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what you see.
I mostly see what you see. I can occasionally
It sees what we see.
Yeah, I know. It's a problem.
That means it hears us right fucking now, probably.
Yeah, there's not much we can do if it's already here, but we are 2 against 1, so if we're aware of the problem, maybe I don't know, some sort of bulwark in the spirit to stop things from happening. Fuck, I don't know.
I need to have a lobotomy where they put lead in one section of my brain, or where we go. I'm
pretty sure any injection of lead's gonna fucking kill you, Theo.
What?
Please do not inject lead.
Do not inject lead.
I'm a scared chemist. Please do not.
I'm gonna inject lead into my body so I can't be scryed on.
It's like, all right, Theo.
No.
All right, let's think about this, Theo. Let's think about this. You and I met. You and I met. Like, our thing happened, and like your powers start to manifest a little bit.
We don't. Okay, when we met, we didn't really meet. I didn't really know too hard that you were there until.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm talking about like when like we became aware of each other.
Yes.
Sort of thing.
Yes.
So we become aware of each other. Your powers manifest, and like, I'll tell you this: up until like, we'll call it the incident. Up until the incident, anything I did, like me and your Echo,
It was very random.
it's like me and your Echo 1-to-1. It made sense for me to believe that was me, and me was him, or them. This is the first time any of us have had this happen. It leads me to believe, especially because, like, I mean, we saw what happened with Branneth, and it's like, hitchhikers appear to be more common than we originally thought. So, it stands to reason that we might have a little hanger-on here, a little clinger somewhere floating around ye old soul.
I'm thinking I need to have a chat with Marcellus.
Hopefully he can help. My only suggestion would be this, Theo. I'm gonna keep doing some digging around in here, see if I can find anything. Go back through ye old memory banks, but
Have fun with that.
yeah, it's not gonna be. Don't use your Echo unless you have to. I'm worried.
It's kind of like my thing.
I know it's kind of your thing, but like, demonic possession is a lot of things, and it's not your thing, but it might be your thing.
Fine.
Plus, if they're anti-dragon, there's literally a dragon walking around in this here castle, technically. Like, it looks like a drow right now, but there's a dragon. Also, if it's anti-dragon, I mean, you've got you know what in said compartment.
We don't think about that.
Exactly. But just because you don't think it, but you don't have
Morgan,
to think
it's
about
the eggs.
Morgan, but
secret dragon killing device. I was like, what you got, bitch?
It's the eggs, Morgan. We don't
it's
think
like-
about the eggs. Remember, stop.
but remember,
I don't remember literally anything.
But Theo, you gotta remember, I know things that you know just because you've experienced them. We have to make the same assumption for this possible third entity.
Noted. So, would you say it's a good or bad idea that I talk to Marcellus?
I think that's probably a good idea. He's older than I think any of us, and while I would suggest talking to Bean, she's definitely not all there. And I think you'll get a funny story about like a meteor hitting more than you will answers.
True.
You be nice to that weird old lady.
That weird, ancient, very important lady.
You be nice to Elf Jesus.
You be nice to Elf Jesus,
I was
right?
literally about to say that woman met Jesus. You put some respect on her name.
No, she's just Elf Jesus.
Elf Jesus.
Because the elven culture worships anything that is older than the war to a very dangerous degree. So if the elves ever found out Bean existed, a holy war would start.
They'd be like, Elf Jesus, she's so old.
Felix is gonna be like a whore and just be like, well, Bean died for my sins, so it's all good.
And Bean, so it's like then like Bean like 1,000 miles away. It's like, my ears are burning. I wonder what Felix is doing.
Jesus.
Okay, but yeah, no, you can absolutely go talk to Marcellus.
All right. Walks. Or trots, or whatever satyrs do.
You find him in his office.
Oh, he's got an
And
office.
he's kind of like, poring over some paperwork. He's like, hello, Theo. Welcome.
What are you doing here?
Read mostly
Oh, well.
and get
Nerd.
incredibly stressed about things beyond my control.
Relatable.
Yes, indeed. I wanted to chat with you. You had mentioned Finian's professor.
Yes, Professor Myers.
Yes, Professor Myers, and you know him.
At this point, I think we're acquaintances more than anything. It's been a couple 100 years, but yes.
Yes. And you talked about how he had some other people in his head.
Yes, it was a ritual of sorts to help preserve some of the great strategists that were very quickly being killed in the wars.
So it was a ritual that made that happen.
Yes.
Right. And is there a simpler way? Like how that can happen? Like not ritual?
Well, possessions are a thing that occur, I wouldn't say frequently in the world, but they are things that can occur. If you are at places of great, say, I guess the best way to describe would be sort of spiritual trauma. You can often see on battlefields ancient sort of monuments.
Like the scars of Metalis? Or
The scars of Metalis, the fall of Chroma, Wormspeaker Fortress, any place that had seen great conflict, which is kind of unfortunately difficult to avoid on in our world as it exists, obviously, but just being in those areas is generally not enough. The person who is becoming possessed must be in some state of trauma or anger or despair, like great, and
say touching a really old dragon bone.
I mean, just simply touching an old dragon bone wouldn't necessarily be enough, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
No,
So it could have been something else.
I'm trying. The most of the time possessions occur.
Said anything about her own voice, isn't her?
Most of the time possessions occur. They are things that it's things you don't necessarily notice. A lot of stressful things were occurring. It's actually a huge issue. I guess now that I'm thinking about it, and he like kind of scrolls through some papers. It's like, yes, actually, I was just reading this report the other day. At the end of the war, there were strange reports. Large numbers of women, any women who were who were pregnant, in and around battlefields, reported large numbers of attempted possessions and possessions specifically of the children. And they would, several of them gave birth to tieflings when they were not expecting that, nor had made any deals. So it's not as simple as just like you found something and like you're now possessed, oh no. I mean, that certainly can happen, but it would have to be a particularly terribly strong spirit for that to occur.
I guess I don't know who my dad is. So Marcellus,
you don't know who your father is.
No,
Actually dropping that you're a bastard.
So, Marcellus,
I mean, Theo, that might have been information to maybe lead with.
I should have led with this. You know, what's his face? The voices. I got some of those too, I think. I thought I had one.
Me rolling up to my psychiatrist like,
Listen, I've got some of those voices in my head. I thought I just had one, but turns out. We thought it was just one.
The usual voices in my head.
Not the usual ones. It's new.
This is a new voice.
This is a new one. I have this friend up here. He tells me his name is Bargash. We just chatted, and we think there might be a secret third one.
No, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. Did you say Bargash?
Yes, Bargash. He's not really too sure of his own history.
Your certain name is Bargash. Bargash.
Yes, that's what he said his name is. He's not really certain who he is.
He stands up.
as soon as you say the word Bargash, he stands up. You watch as he floats to the very top of his bookshelf, which is about 20 feet.
Me as a baby's up there.
Yeah, just about 20 feet tall. He reaches in and he pulls down. He pulls down a large, like leather-bound book, and he sets that down. Sets that down on the table. It's like a big, almost like those like old like Bibles. Like you would see like this gigantic Bible, and on its front,
Bean is on the cover.
Well, no, on its front it is the title of the book is written in Draconic, and it is
I can read that.
And it is the roll and call of the Worm Speakers. And he opens it, and you see just listed it's a book that is full of names. Several places have like chapters for like there's a chapter on Matthias Mercia, the Dragon Lord. So like it's like a history. It's like more of a personal history of the Worm Speakers. It's like a history meets like like those greeter books you would sign at like an Airbnb, like I was here on this day sort of thing. So like it's an actual roll call.
Just imagining the part of the Bible that it's just like John had a son whose name was Abraham, and
exactly. It's a little bit. There's a couple of portions of that. Like there's certainly a couple portions like
Kyle.
Like from Wolfgard down to their son Wolfram, and from Wolfram to Wolf King. It's like there's a couple of those of like
to Bill.
Like there's a couple of long lines of dragons in there, but he flips to one, and it's a large bronze dragon that's sort of like embossed on this. It's embossed on this sort of page. And it says the title. It says General. It says General Bargash and his dragon and his dragon Bjork. And he's and Marcellus points at that, and it's like there's a half orc. It's a half orc sitting on the back of the dragon. It's like that is Bargash.
I'm certain there's more than one person in Bargash.
No.
No.
No, there's not.
Have you ever met another Bargash? It's like, not really a common name.
And I'll tell you and I'll tell you why. And because
it's like Jesus. You don't name your child Jesus.
No, it's and
Zeus literally being a common name.
Yeah, it's a, and I'll tell you, and I will, and I will tell you why. And then he flips a page, and like it talks about Bargash, and it's like, and then your mind sort of clicks momentarily, Theo, and like you kind of like are almost kicking yourself. It's like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot. The highest honor in the military of Odos is the Order of Bargash.
I should have known that, okay? There is no fucking way. I didn't know that. There is no fucking way. I didn't.
It's spelled differently.
It's
spelled so B-A-R-G-A.
Umlaut on top.
So B-A-R-G-A-S-H is how Bargash is spelled traditionally. The order
of spelling Bargash's name because he could never write it down for me.
The order of Bargash is spelled B-A-U-R-G-H-A-S. So it's
written by a white woman.
Exactly. It's this horribly butchered sort of. It's this horribly butchered thing.
I've always been pronouncing it Bogash.
Yeah, a lot of people for some reason call it the Order of Bosch, and I don't understand this.
Order of Oshkosh Bagosh.
The Order of Goop.
Yeah, there's a lich named Gwyneth Paltrow.
No.
If I ever catch
except for my enemy, I would wish that upon my worst enemy. Unless we're talking about my worst enemy, Gwyneth Paltrow. Fuck you, Gwen. You know what you did.
All right.
I'll restrain myself.
He does
kind of look like a lich. Let's all be honest with ourselves.
A little bit. Marcellus looks at you. It's like, so.
Could he do this thing where he created the goop?
I mean, that's
anyone else in there that can make goop?
It's plausible in.
Are you saying goop on purpose?
Because
we're just making Gwyneth Paltrow jokes.
I think my brain just remember that globulus looks like goop, lowercase g goop.
Non-proper noun goop.
Yes.
Non-proper noun goop. And so now the word is stuck in my head.
He's Bargash was he was a cleric. Nothing that really screams corruption.
I So the voice in my head says that his name is Bargash. He's not really sure of his own history.
And Bargash, and she says this part out loud, Bargash, I don't know if you're listening right now, or if you're watching this.
Yeah, I'm kind of processing a whole bunch of wild ass shit at this very moment, so I'm gonna just sit here silently and kind of just ingest.
He says that he's listening, but he's just processing.
Understandable. So here's the
Good
thing.
thing they don't sound the same, or else this would be the same voices just chit-chatting with each
Yeah.
other.
Just like, oh, how are you doing, Bargash? Oh, I'm doing wonderfully. I found out I'm a dragon now.
Ooh, very fancy. I'm also a half-orc.
No, he looks at you and says, most spirits, unless, again, a ritual has been performed, they don't really maintain their own consciousness, as it were.
Well,
Because effectively, their soul is what's sort of floating around in the ether. And unless the soul is tied to something that has the ability to remember, or the capacity to remember, it's not going to remember. It's kind of why it was important that Professor Myers received the souls that they did, because he was there to witness a lot of the things that they had witnessed, thus allowing them to maintain their memories.
I can't
So-
really figure out when exactly. That's why I was asking if it could be something simpler
Was
or sorry.
Your mother possibly already pregnant when she went to Wormspeaker Fortress?
Technically speaking, my mother's never made it into the fortress.
I was so scared that you were about to say technically I was conceived in Warp Speaker Fortress.
She's never made it in. That's the whole thing. She's never made it in. She could have
So
been. I
she
don't know
has
who my
told
father.
you.
So she is told. Now listen here, sir. You listen to me. You listen to me right now. I don't think that my mother would have put me through what she put me through if she'd made it in there already.
Or she put you through what she put you through because she failed. And she needed success.
Exactly. Well, the whole point was that she tried before, and she consistently was failing. And there's a lot of reasons. She thought that she needed me to do it for her because I was a child and I could become strong enough to do it for her. And so I don't know if she's ever actually gotten in. She implied that she never got in, hence why I had to do it for her. And hence why I'm a fucking disappointment because I haven't done it yet. And now I'm sipping into a very deep cocktail that's not even a real accent. The English people are foaming and they're falling on the ground. The English people, if there are any listening to this, are having an aneurysm.
Or
they're stop bastardizing our accents.
Or they're getting a kick out of this because they themselves, like, as somebody who's known several Cockney people, when they get more energized and like angry, they become impossible to understand. So it kind of works.
But I don't know. The whole thing is that none of this
when
really
she went there, was she pregnant with you?
I don't know. She doesn't really talk about that. She hardly talked about my father. She just said he was another soldier and that he died, or some shit. I don't know who it was, or some shit. I don't know. We don't talk about him, and I don't know. None of this really started until I visited the Scars of Metalis when I was like 14, and I touched a bone and it looked like a dragon knuckle, and I felt really odd afterward. Unless it just started it, unless it was always there, and then I just touched that. It was like the go button.
Well, if Bargash is, we can assume it is.
And someone
then,
else, apparently, according to Bargash.
Again, whoever the... there's more than one.
Bargash thinks there is. Bargash thinks there might be another silent and a dark passenger.
Right.
As
Well,
if he
that's.
already wasn't that.
I mean, that's lovely. I mean, well, I wouldn't consider the spirit of a dragon, of a worm speaker who was a cleric to necessarily be a dark presence, but I understand the concern. So, what likely happened to you, Theo, is that because all spiritual connection of any kind requires, again, either the ritual, like we sort of talked about, or connection to a physical piece of their memory within the world. Bargash obviously spent their entire life around dragons. You touching a dragon bone might have been enough of a connection to awaken his spirits. My concern now becomes what else you picked up, or what else might have been picked up without you knowing. Because if Bargash is concerned there's another sort of person knocking around in there, then... And I assume something happened that raised this concern?
Yes, during our battle back in Marishane, I used my echo, that thing that I'm able to create, and it was
Yes.
very it enjoyed the fight much more than it usually did.
How so?
It was very like, yes, vengeance and all that, and it just got way more of a kick out of fighting these cultists than Bargash has ever. We always assumed Bargash was the one who gave me this ability, his presence. And Bargash always assumed that as well. But after that, Bargash was saying that he is now not so certain that it was him at all. Because it enjoyed it just a little bit too much in a very unsettling way, not like, yay, let's go about. It was like relishing in causing pain and
Seeking
killing
vengeance,
them.
almost.
Yes.
Hmm.
Very vengeful.
I think we already spoke about this a little bit, but you and your companions need to get to Wormspeaker Fortress as quickly as possible. I have a feeling that whatever remains there will answer your questions.
Thought we needed to go to the Talinian Fortress first.
Well, you need to go to Talinian Fortress to be able to go to Wormspeaker Fortress. There's a boat chartered there for you. It's just you have a couple of things you can do in Talinian Fortress between Professor Myers and going to Wormspeaker. But given the basically, obviously there's a multitude of sort of things on your plate right now, but at least in terms of answers for your specific conundrum, Theo, I think Wormspeaker Fortress might have more answers than just family legacy waiting for you there.
All right. Cool. No doubt.
But if it hasn't already been said, I would avoid tapping into your echo if possible.
Sure.
As much as you can.
I did it. I lasted a long time without it, so I guess I can just start doing that again.
Best of luck, Theo.
Thank you.
Of course. Yes.
I'd appreciate being able to tell my team about all this myself.
Of course.
Yeah.
I do not reveal things told to me in confidence. Unless it is of extinction level importance.
Gosh.
So,
He's a therapist. He's got his I will not tell unless you intend to cause yourself harm, you intend to cause someone else harm, or someone's going to cause you harm.
Short of this issue becoming profound enough to affect the world at large, your secret is safe with me.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I will say, for the sake of brevity, Marcellus gathers all three of you and basically hands you a scroll. He says that it's a teleportation scroll. It will take you to a safe house within Talinian Fortress. And you will have. He's going to be spreading out some rumors and dissemination, basically, that you are in every city around the continent. He expects it will buy you 2 days of free movement before guards start looking for you. So you'll have kind of 2 days into Linen Fortress to figure out if you want to go talk to Professor Myers, if you want to go try to take the boat out to Wormspeaker Fortress, whatever it might be. But once 2 days are up, you are officially wanted for questioning.
My mom's gonna love that.
Oh, yeah. And with that, as you guys take these scrolls into your hand and you decide how you want to proceed, that is where we're going to end our episode for today. Thank you all for joining us for another episode of Dances with Dice. Please follow us on all of our social media channels at Dances with Dice. And when you use the hashtag DWDcast or DWDart, we will use you as named NPCs in the show. Please join us every single Tuesday. And thank you so much for listening to new episodes of Dances with Dice.